From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Yum Huna Gu Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Yum Huna Gu Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Yum Huna Gu Eva Maya E Ma Ho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature.
Welcome to Viada's Tiny House Village, and it's time for health and well-being. My soul needs some love and nourishment. So I hope you're here to get some nourishment for your soul. So welcome. It's Friday, August 28th. Goodbye, August. It's been fun. I mean, the heat's been amazing in Florida. So we're glad to see August move, and maybe September will bring cooler weather. But either way, I'm sweating a lot, keeping my tan as much as I can. But today is all about why the sudden death of Dolly Parton. Lots of questions coming up. Now, most of you may know music is my number one love. I can do without food. I can do without people for sure, but I cannot do without music. Every day I start my day with music. Throughout the day I got to listen to music. So Dolly Parton is a icon of sorts in the music industry, okay? Everybody's loving on Dolly, remembering the good things about Dolly. But if there's one song, I was thinking of a song that we could say describes this icon today, August 28th, 2026. Here it is. I'm going to play a little tune that kind of sums her up for me in this hour. Okay, wait a minute. That's not it. It skipped over. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. Dangerous. Michael Jackson said it. He's the king of pop. Will always be. Dolly's a good musician, but dangerous. That's what we're going to find out about Dolly Parton. Beautiful musician. She did a lot for the Black community. In fact, her song "I Will Always Love You." She made a lot of money off Whitney Houston singing that song, and she gave a lot of that back into the Black community. But we're going to talk about what she did that was even more dangerous than what she did for her whole life. So let us get busy with some meditative joint rolling, because we got a lot to talk about. I've got 3 doctors I'm going to show for you that talk about Dolly's sudden death, what it means, why it happened, so that we can prevent these things. She was a caregiver for her husband for many years. we're going to talk about that too. But the most important part of her dangerous personality, we're going to talk, we got to bring that out and help you prevent things in your life. So let us take a deep breath together. Inhale through the nose and blow it out through your mouth. This time, inhale through the nose and let it come out through your nose. Those are the two main ways to inhale and exhale, and just work with those two methods and see what works best for you. Sometimes the best way to get more oxygen is just if you're in a panic situation, just and then if you just want to relax, it's nostril in and nostril out, nostril in, nostril out. You want to take it a little more deeper into the lungs. You might go nostril in, hold it, and let it go through the mouth. So practice, because in my experience, that breath is the most important tool you have well-being. My grandson, who is only 10 years old, he gets excited a lot. He gets yelling a lot. And every time his dad or I say, breathe, he said, I don't want to breathe. Okay. So that's the childish reaction to grown-ups telling you to breathe. I had a friend who thought he was having a heart attack, and we're driving along, and I said, take some deep breaths. And he did exactly. Take some deep breaths. And finally, after about 5 minutes, he said, oh, I feel better now. And it was just indigestion that was causing the heart pressure. But a 10-year-old may not be as receptive to just breathe. So I hope that we don't have any 10-year-olds resisting the love of the breath from Creator and the crows. And I'm out here in the patio, which I love being out here in this weather because it's really kind of cool. And I hear birds. I hear every little creature around me. So let's enjoy this moment of well-being. So as usual, we're going to put on the Heart Taurus video to help you visualize what your body is doing when you're moving these parts. The Heart Taurus video gives you a very true representation of the aura that you put out when you move your body. That's why movement is the key to life, to long life, longevity. My dad lived to be 95, and even when he was sitting watching TV, he would lift his legs up and he'd be rotating his ankles and he'd be moving his arms. And that's what kept his blood going. And then 95 years old, he said, poof, I'm out of here. But Dolly, 80 years old, she had enough money to go to 100. I mean, really, we got med beds out there. We got technology galore to extend your life. But something happened. We're going to talk about that. Shut her down quick. And it's a lot that we can learn from this. This is not about judgment at all. It's about discernment and learning the lessons from people like Dolly Parton, who was so big in many areas, but she has a lot to teach us today. And that's why I'm bringing her up. And the doctors are going to help us see exactly, for the most part, why somewhat suddenly, there's dimensions to everything, right? We'll talk about that too. So let's do some joint rolling, starting with the neck and then the shoulders. If you're new here, we go from neck to shoulders to elbows. And then we get on our back and do our wrists and our ankles and our knees and our hips. That's 13 joints that are actually connected to the cosmic universe. It's like study. Don't take a word. Don't believe me. Look up the, Synchronistic Human website. And we talk about that all the time. The cosmic connections to the 13 moon calendar and 13 joints. No coincidences, okay? So let me bring on the Heart Taurus video, and we're gonna roll these joints to get the blood circulating, number one, to improve your immune system, because all this movement is getting those red blood cells active, white blood cells, to get your lymphatic system draining all the toxins, because every movement of the body also works the lymphatic system. And then finally, muscle strength. When we move around these joints, guess what? We're strengthening the muscles, and us seniors especially need strong knee muscles, okay? Because we don't want to have any more knee surgeries in the family. This is all about maintenance and prevention today. So let me share my screen with the Heart Taurus piano music that is going to give us the visual that we create. This one. Okay, we got stuff going here. Everybody take some heat. Let's get ready. This is only 3 minutes, so I always have to start it over. All right. Just a second, me. All right, here we go. Chin to chest and roll. Breathe in. Breathe in. And let's reverse. Shoulders. Roll it back. Breathing. Keep your breathing going. Breathing. And forward. Let's do some swimming. The sea of energy, some beautiful energy today. The sky is blue. Forward and change the direction. Excellent. Immune system pumped up. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Now let's get on our back. Get on our back and kick those legs up. Or if you're in a chair, even if you're in a chair, raise those legs. Let's get on our side. And get this hip energy. This is energy, safe energy. Chakra, let's move that energy. No sitting all day. You got to move this energy. And then reverse. Uterus is getting some love. love energy. Your uterus is getting the movement, the vibration it needs to stay healthy. Even if you're not sexually active, you gotta release this energy to keep it flexibility. Become more flexible, which is also what keeps you healthy. Straight and straight. So let's bring the knees to the chest and roll back and forward. And let's roll over and push up. All right, how are we feeling out there? How are we feeling after that rolling? Let's finish it off with some vagus nerve stimulation because your vagus nerve is the trunk of this tree of life. Let's take a deep breath in, rub those hands together, stir up the chi, and place those hands behind the neck and squeeze and release. Inhale, squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. And then just take 2 fingers under the ear. Get that lymphatic system moving with those 2 fingers. And then just move it right out to the shoulders. You're dumping all the trash in there. Take a deep breath in. Help the movement with the breath. Oh, everything you do touching your body, when you use your breath, it just enhances whatever you do. Breathing, we slap on this part of the arm. It releases the blockages in your body, any blood constrictions. Blocking, unblock. Let's tap those arms. Tap the thymus gland is your major immune system functioner tool. Tap around and on. Grab those breaths under the breasts. Just touch under the arm, and especially around your navel. Get around that navel and move those microbes to. That's your army. Your microbes in your gut area and your navel. And then don't forget your kidneys back there. They do so much work. The kidneys, that's why we have dialysis centers all over the place. We are overworking the kidneys and we're not giving them enough love. So just love on your kidneys and your adrenal glands every day back there. Tap. Deep breath. How are we feeling out there? Everybody doing okay? All right. So I'm going to move over to my office. That's my office over there. And so I'm going to put on my village music and we'll be right back.
The cook put it in high. The cook put in high. And how could was in this order? Could the cook request cut or in high? The cook put it in high. The cook put in high. And the game address with mad push loud. On the bed with magic cool type of yow. The cook's a hopper, a can't pop R. Penenza put the cook on as an order. Who's to get a limit to order a zempa? I can keep a cataract, a dear hand. Tashia, wish you off the sound, come on. The fear would the copy, a count that noon. I kick the geek, a moon to a part to sad. And you get a once.
All right, my favorite music by Imak, bringing it home in the village. Let me see, let's see, get that glare out of here. So I'm in my village here, back where the trees are just beautiful this time of year, flowers. So we are focusing on Dolly and caregiving because I don't know how many of you knew that she was taking care of her husband for many years, and caregiving will drain the hell out of you if you are not careful. So we're going to tell you how to prevent that But in case you missed it, the reason the dangerous music was appropriate for me is because some of us probably forgot the role that Dolly played during the big COVID nightmare, I would say. But one YouTuber, Jimmy Dore, played a video of Dolly reminding us of her dangerous behavior in the last 5 years. So I got to show that first before we hear from the doctors, in case many of you are doubting that Dolly Parton did anything dangerous. Let's watch this video of that Jimmy Dore played this week, actually, shortly after her death.
But let's watch it, and here we go. Honestly, this usually stuff like this makes me angry. This made me more sad for her than angry, because I was duped like she was at first. And here we go.
Well, hey, it's me. I'm finally going to get my vaccine. I'm so excited. I've been waiting a while. I'm old enough to get it, and I'm smart enough to get it. So I'm very happy that I'm going to get my Moderna shot today. And I wanted to tell everybody, I think you should get out there and do it too. I even changed one of my songs to fit the occasion. It goes, vaccine, 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 vaccine. I'm begging of you, please don't hesitate. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. Because once you're dead, then that's a bit too late.
You know, ironically, the original song, Jolene was a bad person who cheated and wronged Dolly Parton. Sometimes our subconscious is calling out with a warning, no matter what our immediate.
So that's what we may have forgotten about her. And for those of you who don't know, she donated $1 million. $1 million to Moderna to promote the big jab. All right. So that's why my song in my head this morning was dangerous, dangerous. We have many Hollywood stars and musicians who thrill us, entertain us, and tell us we're wonderful, and we dance to their music, and then something happens. They get sucked in by the system of evil and corruption. So let us not forget the dangerous part of this beautiful soul's life, because she played a role. She played a role like so many in the COVID nightmare that we all went through. And now Fauci is bringing out more crazy lies, deception, and untruth. So it's time for us to just take it in, learn the lessons, and prevent any more foolishness in our lives from these performers who convinced millions of people to do that, and now they're dead. Or they're suffering. As you'll see in this next teaching by Dr. Sunil Dahan and his partners, doctors, they're going to show us why they think her death was sudden in their own medical professional mind. So I love listening to Dr. Sunil because he's pretty radical, and he's more against sex sick care than he is for it. So let's learn something from him, Dr. Sunil, and his doctor friends today. Okay, here we go.
Has sadly passed away at the age of 80. But we are very concerned as doctors that there are certain aspects of her life, certainly over the last couple of years, and her health decline that aren't being talked about enough, because there are some huge learning points here that we would like to discuss in this video. And for those of you who enjoy our discussions, please make sure that you're subscribed to our channel. Hit that subscribe button. Dr. Ben, get us started then. This was very sad news. Who didn't love Dolly Parton?
Well, Dolly Parton was an absolute legend.
Okay, we want to pass through some of this because, yeah, we all know what an amazing soul she was, musician. The beginning of her life reminded me of my dad, because she lived in a 1-bedroom shack with like 5 or 6 kids. So poverty inspired her to do great things, and then the rest is history.
And we are all very saddened to learn of her passing, but she was also very open about her life, her medical issues. She was diagnosed with cancer, which is what she had said. And she also said, which is very concerning, that she had become a caretaker for her husband and had begun to neglect her health. She was very open about that. She had said that and was very transparent as usual, as she always was. And that is something that really resonated with me as a doctor, because this is something that I hear about all the time.
Now, you would think somebody with her money would hire someone to take care of her husband. But evidently, from what we're hearing, she took the major role in trying to take care of him, love him, and all that. Big mistake that we're learning from today.
Called caregiver burnout. And what tends to happen is if a loved one gets sick and you become the caretaker, you can devote your entire life to that, so much so that you stop focusing to a large degree on your own needs.
Now, my experience was I took care of my older sister with breast disease in my home for 9 months back in 2004 and 5. And at the end of her life, she passed away after 9 months, and I was her caretaker for 9 months. My left nipple sunk in to my breast. And that was the sign for me that you did a little too much. You didn't take care of yourself. So immediately after that, when I realized what had happened with my breast, frankincense oil and almond oil rubbing on the breast brought it right back to life.
Health needs, your physical needs, your mental needs. And what we can see is that caregiver ends up suffering a lot of medical issues, a lot of mental, emotional issues. It can be really, really tragic. As a matter of fact, 80% of caregivers report significant burnout, and that can occur through many, many different means. It is not something there's a lot of support for. We can talk about some of the agencies that are available to support, but there aren't that many. And the support that's provided by these agencies is pretty minimal. So it really does fall on the loved ones, the family members. And in Dolly Parton's case, it sounds like she did an incredible job caring for this person she had been married to for 60 years, is my understanding.
You got money, honey. You get somebody else to do that. I don't care how much you love a person. Like he said, it'll burn you out at some point if you don't find ways to relieve the stress. And I say a simple thing you can do is buy essential oils, lavender, whatever your favorite oils are, fine. And just inhale. If you're in that situation, you have to take care of someone, you can't afford it, just make sure you diffuse an essential oil, the fragrances, you're going outside, taking deep breath. That's the first step you can take when you're in that situation, is breathe in essential oils that can help calm your nervous system.
But it sounds like it took a serious toll on her.
Yep, and she was very open about that. So Carl Dean, her husband, who famously never sought limelight for decades, 60 odd years, and it was a very solid, stable marriage, I believe. But they met, she was a teenager at the time, they got married shortly afterwards. And he passed away in March of 2025. So just over a year ago, year and a half almost. And she was very open afterwards that she had spent so much time caregiving that she had neglected her own health and well-being. And this is something that we see so often as doctors, and we really want to focus on here because undoubtedly some people watching this are in this position. There is a lot to learn because Dolly Parton, let's be quite frank, she was almost a billionaire. She could have hired all the carers that she wanted to, but she chose out of love for her husband to be there, to be managing his daily life, his medications, making sure everything was on schedule, watching for symptoms. I'm sure she was taking care to avoid things like falling, etc. So without speculating on the entirety of what happened, this is a very common story. And for Dolly Parton to admit that, and the cancer diagnosis was very recent, my understanding, and there is even a link between metabolic health decline, immune system suppression, and development of cancer. Let's be quite frank, 80 years old nowadays is not old. Nowadays, it's expected that people should live well into their 80s, hit the 90s, and still have a reasonable, decent quality of life. And up until recently, that was Dolly Parton.
That's so true. And what an idol she was, and what a role model. She was such a philanthropist. She was such an entrepreneur. And so there's just so many things to look up for. And this is a really, really sad day. And it actually makes me especially sad as a doctor, because you're right, that it does resonate with us. You know, sometimes people are not eating as well during this time, that a lot of the processed carbs also become readily available fuel cells for cancer. Specifically for the heart, you have to think about, in the first couple of years after someone passes, in the cardiology world, there is something called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, or it's also more probably well known as broken heart syndrome. So we know that like the mental stress and the increased cortisol and sympathetic stress from losing a loved one can actually, in some cases, cause increased rates of death in people who were the spouses. So in the first couple of years, a broken heart syndrome is there's increased stress on the heart, and the heart essentially can get very weak. And
so this is so key to move into the next conversation about Dolly's turbo cancer, really sudden death, because as he talks about all this stress that she's dealing with, or anyone, if you're dealing with a lot of stress in your life, guess what? If you took that jab and then the stress comes, that's where I believe, my own personal opinion, turbo cancers are showing up. Because that jab, for many people, they're going on living their own. They took the jab, they're living their lives, they're working 9 to 5. Thank you, Dolly. And then all of a sudden, some people develop serious illness like her because of the stress on the body, along with, guess what? The jab.
people can die from this. And so there is a real tangible connection between the mental and physical manifestations of chronic stress.
Well, it just goes to show, you know, if somebody like Dolly Parton, with her resources, everything that she had, everything that she was in this position where she became so fatigued that she was very openly admitting that, you know, she had not been able to really care for herself to the best of her ability, given the burden of this. It just goes to show how overwhelming this situation.
I want to impart on you, the purpose of this particular video is for all the millions of people out there who are caregivers in this unfortunate circumstance, that it's absolutely imperative that you take care of yourself as well. I know it's easier said than done. Maybe you have other family members who can relieve you just even for an hour a day, go out for a walk. But it's really, really important to do that. It's a very sad situation. But you look at someone like Dolly Parton, who was singing at Glastonbury a few years ago, to have this quick decline. I'm surprised that more segments of the media haven't really focused on this as a learning point for everybody, which I'm sure somebody as amazing as Dolly Parton, who did so much good in the world, would love the country to start talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything that would be positive out of this, it would be a big learning point.
And give you in terms of help, neighbors, friends. This is when, you know, it really becomes important to have community around you. If you belong to a church, maybe they can be helpful to you.
And it's not easy, but it's the greatest thing you can do for them is to make sure you're your very best, so that you can be present, you cannot be stressed, you can be awake, and you can be there at a very difficult time. It is not an act of selfishness. It's the opposite.
It's true. It's letting go of that guilt, and that I assume that like a lot of people probably feel guilt for taking time for themselves to be away from their loved one in order to go to a doctor's appointment. But we just have to realize that like being a great caregiver doesn't mean that you have to disappear from your health care. And with children too, and that is such an important aspect that we often forget. It's not just the spouse, it's the children as well. And
so I think, as you can see, these doctors are focused on the fact that being a caregiver is so draining and so stressful and so demanding of your physical energy, that this is what they're saying is part of the reason that Dolly had to leave us, because her body could not handle all the stress. Now, if we were to go back to Jimmy Dore's video about her taking her promoting the jab, not just promoting, funding the jab with $1 million. That blew my mind. $1 million she donated to Moderna to help get that jab in everybody, because you don't want to, she didn't want anybody to die from the COVID virus. When now we're seeing nurses and doctors, whistleblowers who are saying nobody died from the COVID virus, they died from remdesivir and the ventilators that were used in the hospitals. This is something you have to research. There's so much information coming out. I can barely keep up with it. But the truth is that that jab created a situation in many bodies that weakened the system, first of all. And someone like Dolly or any caregiver who goes under stress of fear, I think fear, in my opinion, is the number one emotional energy that can weaken and cause death in a person's body. Because that fear, there in my book Fear, From Fear to Faith in the Master Design, I start out in the introduction reminding people that 365 times in the Bible it says do not fear, or beware, don't fear, don't fear, don't fear. So even in that holy book, we are reminded how risky and how dangerous fear is. So imagine someone like Dolly Parton taking care of her husband, and the worst thing that she's imagining is his death, probably. I don't want him to die, so I'm going to put all my energy into giving him his food, loving, holding his hand, loving him. And I had, even with my own experience of having a partner who was very sick, at some point the fear went away, and I was just praying for peace, that he would go to have peace in his body. And the fear was taken over by divine energy, divine appointment, divine assignment. At some point, we should and we can move into the thought process of everything is in divine order. Everything. The more I live, the longer I live. That's my mantra. Everything is in divine order. You cannot control when a person's going to die. You can give all the love in your heart, all the love in your body, but there's going to come a point where you and the Creator will manifest your day of transition. So in terms of the risk of caregiving, I want to just encourage you to study scriptures, Psalms, Proverbs, study books that will help you accept, surrender to divine order. Divine order is everything. These birds, these sounds out here are all in divine order. That's the Creator's energy back there. The trees, this tree over here gives flowers every summer, spring. That tree, every tree around here now has flowers, whereas in the wintertime, no flowers. So when you watch this process every day, every year, you can surrender or start to think about surrendering, letting go of control. And that's one of the biggest lessons for me in the last year, in fact, is I am not able to control as much as I think I need to control, because everything's in divine order. And when you surrender to that reality, peace comes to these cells. Your adrenal glands will stop producing so much cortisol. When you, I got to control this, especially when you talk about your children. Last night on my show with the True Black Light Media, if you missed that, please go back, and we discussed the role of mothers in 2026, which I thought was very important, not just for mothers, but anybody supporting the mothers. And we discussed how it's not necessary to try and be a helicopter mom and control, but to only be conscious that these little souls that come through our womb have an assignment with the Most High, and you are not going to prevent that assignment from occurring. So all we can do is show love, compassion, patience. How about patience? And let go of the fear. That's a daily practice, letting go of fear. Whatever you have fear about right now, we can tap it out. We can say, even though I have this fear about my job, my children, my husband, my health, I deeply love and accept myself. This is emotional freedom techniques at its finest. When you use these techniques to touch your body and send messages to your cells that I'm not going to hold on to fear. I'm not holding on to fear. And that music that I play, that I'll probably play, I am healthy, whole, and complete. It's a subconscious energy message that says, let go, let go, let go of all those fear molecules, worry molecules, tension that will hold you in contempt of this divine court. You're in contempt of court because you're just not letting go of it. You're too tense, you're too tense, you're too so contempt. Let it go. Let it go. We take a deep breath and let go of the need to control, the fear that we've been holding on, that what if I don't do this, what could happen? So many people in my life lately are thinking, saying, if I don't do this, death could come. Or if I don't do this, someone could get hurt. The reasonable mind that says, I let go of the need to control, but I accept divine order, will be lovingly, patiently, cautiously watching out for danger, right? We're not going to just be careless and let our children run in the streets or anything like that, but to protect yourself as a caregiver, protect yourself from the fear, worry, doubt that the media puts out every day. There's something on the phone about somebody died, this happened, someone was killed, and then we go into worry, fear mode all day long because what if that happened to me? Let's knock some of that out with some tapping, starting on the side of the hand. Even though I see fear around me, I see violence, I see anger, I see resentment, I see all these negative energies around me, I choose to walk in the Psalm 91 truth of, I dwell in the secret place of the Most High. I abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will not fear because the Creator, universe is my refuge and my strength. And truth is my shield and my armor. That's a Psalm 91 confession about letting go. Then you tap into these meridian points on your face that send a message to every cell in your body, to all these Wi-Fi units in your body that say, I am free of worry. I am free of fear. I am free of doubt. I am healthy, whole, wealthy, and complete. I am complete. I love myself. I am in perfect joy because life is showing me what I need to do to prosper. I am in joy. I am in peace. And I love myself more and more each day. I love myself more and more each day. Tapping in to all the points on your body that hold on to fear. All these areas hold on to fear. Your lymphatic system will constrict and not drain because you're holding on to fear about somebody could die, some pet could die, this could happen. Oh my God. This, by the way, my grandchildren's OMG is off the chain right now. Everything, there's a grandma moment, please bear me. Everything that happens in my grandchildren's life that they don't like is, oh my God. And I'm like, can we get off of that for a minute? No, we can't. So grandma has to zip. And then the other word that is so popular with my grandchildren and their friends is bro. Hey, bro. They started calling grandma bro. Hey, bro. And you know what I do? I go back and say, what is it, bro? Okay, bro. So So in those moments, I have to laugh now. I used to get really serious about the things that these grandchildren do, and the grown up adult men, that what they do, because fear would show up in my life. What if they don't respect me? What if they keep this? Oh my God, oh my God, and then they offend the Creator. What if? What if? What if? Do you have those thoughts in your head as well? What if? What if? If I don't control this behavior, if I don't control, now I'm more inclined to just laugh and put it. And they say, don't mock me, don't mock me. Well, I'm not mocking. I'm going to laugh with you, bro. I'm going to laugh with you, bro. No sis, just bro. Whether you're a woman or a man, people are calling you bro. So what do we do with those words and those energies that come at us, bro? Oh my God, oh my God. We have to learn to laugh sometimes. I'm learning to laugh. I've been a very serious person most of my life, but I'm learning to laugh at these things because that's what keeps me in peace. Guarding your peace is key to avoiding these sudden deaths like Dolly, and guarding your temple and not letting the industries of man, psychopathic industries of man, sick care system, put anything in your body that your intuition says, nah, I don't think that's going to help me. Because the truth is, what you really need in this season of truth being revealed, whether it's Fauci or Dolly, is to take on a sovereign attitude that this is a sacred temple. I don't need your medicine. I don't need your words of advertisement that this drug is going to cause death and paralysis, blah, blah, blah. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. And just get into a meditative state every day, because going within is the solution to just about every diagnosis, every disease you could have a doctor present to you. Go within and put on the music. Like, I play Michael Jackson's Stranger in Moscow every night because the music is amazing. The backup singers are amazing. And watching Michael Jackson in this gold suit, wiggling his behind and moving his body is so stimulating. It's like, whoa, oh, Michael. So that's what brings me peace at night when I'm ready to. And if it's funny, I'm looking at YouTube videos at night and Michael Jackson comes up every night, Stranger in Moscow. That just turns me on, soothes my soul, and gives me this visual of this amazing person who dwelt on this earth, who gave us so much joy, so much love, so much entertainment, and his magical body moving around. Check it out if you haven't. Stranger in Moscow. I know the women will love it. I don't know. And the men background, it's just amazing. These are the tools that you use if you're a caregiver and you don't have a choice. Essential oils every day, all day. Smell the lavender. Tap out the stress. Even though I'm in stress today, even though grandma's got worse or dad's got worse or my husband got worse today, I love myself. And I'm going to go outside and I'm going to just walk around and hug trees, do something very different from taking care of another human being that has a divine assignment to leave this earth, whether you like it or not. It's just the reality that we come to know as we get older. My partner, who I spent 5 years with, we went to Cuba together, male partner. And on a couple of days before he passed, I did a hand massage for him, which he used to just love, hand massage. That's why I did a show about the hand. When you can give someone a hand massage, even if you're the caregiver, that just might bring them back to life because the map of the body is on the hand and the foot. Try a foot massage and a hand massage on your person that you're caring for and see what difference it makes. And then just rubbing their back. I rubbed his back. He sat up, even though he was in a morphine state at that point. He sat up in that bed because he said he wanted a hand massage, and I just gave him a spinal a flash, a spinal rub down the spine from the neck all the way to the bottom. You take your hand and just go down the spine, and it releases tension in the spine. Just take the hand on the spine and go, whew, give a little pressure. Ask him, how's that feel? Pressure, a little pressure. Take both hands and then rub that energy out the side of the back. You'd be amazed at what that'll do for a person. And my friend almost came out of his coma, morphine coma, but it was just time for him to go. How do I know? Because he took his last breath on my grandmother's Earth Day. It's like, what the fuck? Well, how did that happen? Why my grandmother? Why my maternal grandmother's Earth Day? Because it's in divine order. And what that said to me was he left at the perfect time of his assignment after he taught me many lessons about suffering, pain, emotional drama, emotional immaturity, all of that. That you have to reflect on all the lessons when somebody transitions. It's like, wow, my grandmother's birthday, Earth Day, solar return day. And then you reflect on all the lessons that they came to teach. And then peace can come. You don't grieve as long because you're looking at divine order, divine order, divine order in everything. So I hope this has been helpful for all you Dolly lovers to know that she was dangerous in the end. And there are a lot of reports coming out that Dolly actually left many years ago. The original Dolly Parton. This is a conspiracy theory that the original Dolly left years ago, and we've been looking at a drone. I watched a video that she supposedly made 5 days before she passed. That wasn't Dolly. I'm sorry. That was something else. AI is like every video we see now. Is that AI? You have to ask that question now. Is it AI that I'm watching, or is it the real deal? Because they're trying to trick us into believing a narrative of lies, basically. We need to know the truth. The creator is revealing the truth to us in Dolly Parton, in Fauci, and all these people who are coming, who are dying, taking their last breath, so to speak. And then we're finding out they've been dead a long time, but there's a drone, a false person in the body, or they've created this this individual who's not the real deal. Anyway, that's conspiracy theory, just saying. But if you looked at this video that she made 5 days before she left, that wasn't her. Sorry. The face was the skin was perfect. Nah. That's not her. They're tricking us lots of times in these videos to bring forth a narrative. Here's another little short bit of info. If you didn't know, Aaliyah, the musician who we loved, Aaliyah, the singer who is beautiful. So she died on August 25th also. Gematria comes in here. Spiritual messages come in here. When these things are happening like that, all these people passing away on the same day, that's a manipulation of the evil ones, the elite ones, whatever you want to call them, the powers that should not be. They use dates and numbers all the time. So 825 was a 7, I think. 25, 6, 7, 14, 15. So yeah, I think it was the number 7. So the energies, entities, whatever you want to call them, they use these numbers to bring forth their wicked plans. I'm saying. So do your homework. Don't trust everything you hear on the media, especially on TMZ and places like that. They all been corrupted and compromised. And this whole picture of Dolly Parton has morphed into something unreal, in my opinion. Because the last video of her was not her at all. I don't know who that was, but it wasn't her. And the thing is, she's probably been gone. So this is a beautiful theater we're watching. enjoy the show. Pass the popcorn. Don't get upset. Don't get too brought into all this drama and lies. It's all a lesson. Let's just learn the lesson, and let's just plant the seeds of love. They said plant the seeds of love. And I want to just play our final healing song by Stephen, because you should be memorizing this song. And so that every time you have a pain in your body, uh, inflammation, cramp, everything, just sing this song. I'm playing it so much now, I'm singing it. And I don't have inflammation stay with me very long anymore, because I start singing this song, and it just, the energy, the words, the music just bring clarity and balance to my body. So I want to play it as we end this song, in case you haven't heard it. This is the key to staying healthy during caregiving, and even play it for the person you're caring for. Steve, my guest who created this song, said he played this for his mother-in-law who was going through a caregiving situation, and he played this music for her, and she revived like quickly. So let's just leave out on the remembering the words to Steve's song. It's called My Body Whole and Complete. And I hope that you're memorizing this, so that whenever you feel pain, weakness, sadness, just play this song. And I've added wealthy in the middle. I'm healthy, wealthy, whole, and complete. Here we go. Healthy,
Whole and complete. I am healthy,
wealthy,
whole and complete. I am healthy, whole and complete. My subconscious mind listens to me. It is happy and joyful to work on healing me. My subconscious mind can't tell the difference between what is real and what I am vividly imagining, feeling, and speaking over my life at this very moment. In other words, my subconscious mind, my body, is believing everything I am speaking, feeling, imagining in my mind. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. So when I repeat, I am healthy, whole and complete. I am healthy, whole and complete.
Now, I hope you felt that energy. I hope you felt that love that came from those words and that music. Sending out all the love and healing energy for you today. Just take it in, take it in, take it in. And by all means, play that for your loved ones who are suffering or in sickness, bedridden. They might just wake up from that music. So that's it. We did a great job keeping it at an hour. Have things to do today. So I hope this has blessed you. If you have been blessed by this message, I accept cash apps at $ Vieta Robinson. When you send a cash app for any amount, I'll send you the book Vegetable Soup for Women, and I'll send you my ebook for building a tiny house village. All the steps that took me to loving this lifestyle, how I maintain my house, and all the things around me that taught me how this is the way to go. This is the way to go. Smaller minimalism. And then if you want my book, From Fear to Faith and the Master Design, $8 is the ebook price. And you will get all the story, all the people I met who taught me about preventing disease, especially cancer, and German new medicine. I was watching my sister of the synchronistic family teaching about how the brain connects to these different organs in a special way to present to them the energy they need to thrive and survive. And that's how German new medicine works. When you have a trauma, like Dolly Parton's trauma was the death of her husband after all that stress. And then the death of her husband, if it was sudden, a lesion comes onto the brain. That message is sent to, in fact, in her case, I think her lung, liver developed the cancer quickly because of, and so then that whole process is very natural, very natural. And my book shows you why it's very natural, because that's how the creator put this temple together to recognize conflict in your life here first, in the brain, thoughts and all that. And then if you don't resolve those conflicts, guess what? Tumors show up, lesions show up, ulcers show up. So it's up to us to resolve the conflict. How do we do that? Peace, peace, nature, nature. You're not going to have a conflict with birds flying around and bees and all that, unless you have fear of them. Then don't go out into where the bees are. But resolving the conflict is key to helping the body get to homeostasis, which is balance, 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 and peace, joy. Got to resolve resolution. That's why it's important to have healthy discussions with people. If you have people in your life, they don't want to discuss things because it bothers them, it hurts them, their head gets hurt. That's where they're going to have disease show up and imbalance show up in the body, because communication, we are practicing how to communicate with love, how to express love, compassion. The monks who marched to Washington, D.C. were demonstrating to us how to live a life of loving compassion, mindfulness with the breath, and joy for what we do. And that's how we keep away from turbo cancers and all that Dolly had to go through. She had, I don't know how many cancers that showed up at the end of her life. Whatever. I think, as I said, that wasn't her. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you. Please remember, like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500. I think, yeah, I'm close to 500 subscribers. It's just a nice number. And then we go to 700. After that, I'll be trying to get to 700. Just keeping with the happy numbers. Okay. I think we've got everything. And this show was not intended to replace any advice you may be receiving from your doctor. If you have any acute or chronic health conditions that you can't resolve, please see your trusted health professional. And by all means, go outside and get some fresh air, sunshine. Need some sunshine to keep this body in a healthy, loving, strong position. All right. All right, everybody, go outside and have fun today. And we'll see you on Sunday. Soul Purpose Healing right here. Shalom. All my yogi friends, namaste. Sat Nam. Aho, aho to my native brothers and sisters. Ashe, ashe, oh to my involving, loving community of synchronistic humans. And shalom. See you later.
I went for Papa Lag. And I got what you I could get that. I knew could do the culture destined yet. I knew could do la mother was part of that. I do feel Papa that the guy was and knew but now that super do I got the horse. The cook could put it in her, in her. Yeah, the cook could put it in her, in her. In her, could was in this order, could do the cook was cut on in her. The cook could put it in her, in her. The cook kabuch in her, in her. I knew I did the cow pass a cat. The cat knew I knew how which part and cat. I knew I did my name at that tat. The job I drive part not to bat. We park a white cap and jump a car. Pass it that shit there, who's a hack, who's a patat. Sika boom a cat, they get a boy. To a part legend man, leave a hoy. And knew so ooh, pass a thoughtfully had they on. I knew I did it and cool.